All right, let's talk about one of history's greatest, most baffling, unsolved puzzles, the Voynich Manuscript. This is a book that, it looks and feels completely authentic, but what's inside, well, it's like nothing else on this planet.
I mean, just look at this. Every single page is a complete mystery. We're talking about incredibly detailed drawings of plants that no botanist has ever seen, celestial charts of star patterns we don't recognize, and it's all surrounded by this beautiful flowing script that absolutely no one can read.
And when I say no one, I mean it. The world's absolute best cryptographers. We're talking about the code breakers who cracked the German Enigma machine in World War II. They took a shot at this thing and came up with nothing. So what is it about this one medieval book that makes it so impossible to understand?
To figure that out, we're going to investigate this manuscript from the outside in. We'll start with what we can actually prove about the physical book itself.
Right, so before we get lost in all the wild theories, and trust me, there are a lot of them, let's just ground ourselves in what science can tell us about this incredible object. So, physically, what are we looking at? Well, it's a book. It's about the size of a modern paperback, but it's made from vellum, which is this specially prepared animal skin. It's got about 240 pages, though it looks like some are missing. And its totally unique script has earned the nickname Voynich.
And we actually have a pretty solid timeline here. Radiocarbon dating done on the vellum itself confirms it was made way back in the early 1400s. And the style of the illustrations, especially this one, drawing of a castle, points really strongly to northern Italy during the Renaissance. It gets its modern name, by the way, from Wilfrid Voynich, the book dealer who found it and brought it into the spotlight back in 1912.
Now, for years, everybody just assumed that a single, probably obsessed genius created this whole thing. But when experts did a close physical analysis of the book, they discovered something absolutely stunning. At least 5 different people worked on this book.
And you really don't have to be a handwriting expert to see what they mean. You can see Scribe 1 has this very neat, spacious style. But Scribe 2 is much more cramped, and their lines kind of slope upwards. This is huge. It proves it wasn't just one person's secret obsession. It was a collaborative effort by a whole group of people who all knew and used this same bizarre script.
Okay, so since we can't read the words, our best guide to what this book is even about has to be its incredibly strange illustrations. And they seem to be organized into these distinct sections, each with its own weird theme.
The first and biggest part is this massive herbal section. It's got over 100 unique plants, but here's the crazy part. Almost none of them are real. They seem to be composites, with the roots of one plant, the leaves of another, and the flowers of a third. They are, for all intents and purposes, biological impossibilities.
Next, you get into what looks like astronomical and cosmological sections. You see some things that look like zodiac symbols, sure. But the constellations they're in, they don't match our sky. The whole book is filled with these beautiful, incredibly intricate circular diagrams, and we have no idea what they mean. There's even this giant fold-out page showing a kind of map with 9 islands all connected by pathways. It's baffling.
And then you get to what is, without a doubt, the weirdest part of the book, the biological section. It's page after page of these small, nude female figures bathing in these pools of green liquid, all connected by this elaborate network of pipes and tubes that sometimes look like internal organs. There is nothing else like these images in any other medieval manuscript, period.
After all that, the pharmaceutical section almost feels normal. Here you see labeled drawings of individual plant parts, roots, leaves, and objects that look a whole lot like the jars you'd find in an old apothecary shop. It really suggests a focus on making some kind of medicine or chemical compounds.
And then finally, the book just ends. It ends with a section that has no illustrations at all. It's just dense pages of these short little paragraphs, and each one is marked in the margin by a small star. The whole thing looks just like a list of recipes or maybe a set of instructions.
So, okay, the pictures are bizarre. We can all agree on that. But what about the script itself? Is it a real language? Is it an unbreakable code? Or is it all just an incredibly elaborate hoax? Well, this is where modern computer analysis gives us our most exciting clues.
Because here's the thing that drives everyone crazy. Whatever Voynich is, it is not random gibberish. The writing flows from left to right, it uses a consistent set of characters, and when you analyze it with a computer, it behaves almost exactly like a real structured language.
One of the biggest pieces of evidence for this is something called Zipf's law. It sounds complicated, but it's really not. In every single human language, from English to Mandarin, the words we use follow a very specific frequency pattern. It's like a statistical fingerprint for language. And you guessed it, Voynich follows Zipf's law almost perfectly.
But this is maybe the most compelling discovery of them all. Statistical analysis shows that different sections of the book actually use different vocabularies. The words that are common in the plants section are rare in the astronomy section. And you know what else? The vocabulary in that pharmaceutical section overlaps with the herbal section, just like you'd expect. The text actually changes to match the pictures. That does not happen by chance.
So, after looking at the physical book, the bizarre illustrations, and the surprisingly structured language, where does that leave us? Well, it leaves us staring at a 600-year-old mystery that just refuses to give up its secrets.
Really? The theories boil down to three main possibilities. 1. It's a code, an unbreakable cipher that's hiding some kind of secret knowledge. 2. It's a real, but now totally extinct language that was just never written down anywhere else. Or 3. It's the single most brilliant and elaborate hoax in history, designed to look real but mean nothing at all.
But that hoax theory gets a lot weaker when you consider this one last point from the researchers. That connection between the words and the pictures, it is statistically significant. That means there is real information in there. The question that remains, the one that keeps everyone guessing, is what is that information, and will we ever be able to read the book that can't be read?